Hello my lovely friends, I'm so excited to do this Q&A video. I asked you to give me some questions and you did not hold back and I'm glad. So yes, I'll be answering your questions today. If this ends up being too long, then I'll split it into parts. And basically I grouped the questions into categories to make it flow better. So let's get on with the questions. And of course, Chico is here to participate to this lovely Q&A. Okay, so the first category is fashion, sewing and beauty. Where do you get your clothing designs from? I think Camilla probably means my patterns, and I get them from various places, mainly on the internet, because here in Greece we don't have sewing patterns, at least not vintage sewing patterns. I usually get them in a PDF form because it's easier to download, although I do have to piece them together, which is a little bit annoying, but at least it's quick and easy, and it's a lot more affordable, I should say. But I really wish I could get my hands on some authentic vintage patterns. I wish I could have them in my collection, because that would be, honestly, that would be priceless. Maybe one day if I travel to the US and I'm able to find, we'll see. So, how did you begin your sewing journey and what were some of the first things that you sewed? Did someone teach you to sew? I put these two together because they're kind of similar. So basically I have a whole video where I'm talking about my sewing journey. It's called Learn to Sew to Live More Sustainably, if I recall the title correctly. And I explain my whole journey there. But long story short is that I started around 2017, I think, and I took some really short and quick sewing lessons from Singer. Basically, they kind of showed me how to make a full skirt and a pencil skirt, and then I did the rest on my own. I was very happy to find Gertie, which is a sewing teacher. She makes sewing patterns. She has her own Patreon, and her videos have helped me a lot in learning how to sew. But it was basically, yeah, it was kind of self-taught, apart from the first initial lessons. How did you have so much patience with sewing? Oh, Jackie, well, I'm a very impatient person, and when I was younger I think about sewing and it would seem impossible for me to do because I couldn't even imagine to have the patience to do all these steps to finish a garment. But I don't know what switched, and maybe I think it's the motivation for me, the end result that makes me patient, because I really love the end result. I love the fact that I'm able to create something with my hands, and something especially that I'm not able to buy in stores. That motivation for me is plenty, so it gives me the patience to do the thing. How long ago did you start your sewing career, makeup art, and of course dressmaking? I did say when I started sewing. As for makeup, that was quite a long time ago. I think it was around 2008 that I got into makeup, and I worked at MAC Cosmetics here in Greece, and then I went to London and worked there for 3 years. And after coming back around 2017, I worked as a teacher, as a makeup teacher, instructor. So that's what I've been doing since then. I don't really do makeup that much anymore. I've had enough of that. But teaching is something I really like still. And let's move on to fashion. Shush. Your favorite decade to wear is the 50s, right? Yeah. So which decade would you dress in if you had to choose another option? Shush! Yes, I do love the 50s, but I also really like the 40s and early 60s. Huh? Yeah, Chico agreed. And but let's say I couldn't dress 50s, 40s or 60s, then I would do 80s. Yes, I know that may sound as a surprise for you, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so these two decades are very precious for me. They're what shaped my childhood and my teenage years. So yes, I would dress 80s. I would love that actually. Let's move on. What do you think about women over 40 dressing vintage? Well, I think it's fabulous. I am 50 and I dress vintage all the time. So yes, why not? If you watch movies, if you look at photos from that time and you see women that are over 40 dressed in what was everyday wear for them, that could be the way you dress. Why not? It was normal then. Why wouldn't it be normal now? So yeah, just do what you like, and no one has the right to tell you what to wear or what not to wear. As long as you feel comfortable and beautiful, then that's it. What prompted you to start dressing vintage, and is there an era that you love the most? The era, you know, it's the 50s mainly. And what prompted me to start dressing vintage is the fact that I love that aesthetic. I've been watching old movies ever since I was a child, and I have always loved that aesthetic. I mean, I loved Marilyn Monroe ever since I was young, Lorraine Bacall, all those stars from the 40s and 50s. And I always thought that they look incredible. They look so beautiful, feminine and elegant at the same time. So that's what prompted me. And I couldn't imagine that I was able to do that now, like that I was able to dress in full vintage style, I mean. But then I saw some people doing it abroad, like not in Greece, of course. And I thought to myself, I want to do that too. So that's how it happened. I slowly started incorporating vintage style elements in my everyday style. But then at some point I decided to go all in, and I'm glad I did. Which mainstream stores do you use for vintage decor, or do you source antiques? I don't really shop from mainstream stores a lot unless I find the occasional vintage style decor thing at IKEA or somewhere like that, but I usually don't. I love to buy from thrift shops, or the equivalent of thrift shops that we have here, which is not exactly the same thing, unfortunately. But we do have some stores which are selling secondhand furniture and decor, and the prices are quite reasonable. So I like to go to these shops, or maybe some fairs, open markets, and hopefully find something that I can bring home. And I always, of course, love to shop from my mom, which is to steal beautiful stuff from her and bring it to my home. Oh, and if I source antiques, I don't really go for really old things like antiques, because they're usually quite expensive. But I do try to get original vintage things like furniture, like what I have here, or decor pieces, anything I could use to decorate my home that would be from the 50s, from the 40s, 50s, 60s. Yeah, these are my favorite eras again for decorating. Let's go to another vintage style related question by Brooke. How does a woman close to 70 dress and wear her hair and begin a new chapter of a slower paced and more vintage life? So, Brooke, I'm not 70, but if I were, and if I was just starting to dress vintage, I would do exactly what I do now, which is basically wear whatever I like and whatever suits me. I think these are the main two things for finding your personal style: to wear things that suit you, that bring out the best features of you, and to wear what makes you feel comfortable and beautiful, whatever anyone else might say. And as I said before, you can always watch movies from the 40s and the 50s, whatever era you prefer, that look closely what the women were wearing, women your age were wearing those films. And then you can get some inspiration to how you could dress, how to do your hair, what kind of makeup. Of course, you could always take elements from different eras and combine them to create your own unique look. You don't have to copy or like just one specific era, or if you do want to do that, then just do that. Just don't be afraid to do what makes you happy, basically. If dressing vintage makes you happy, then do that. And I think it's definitely appropriate for women over 40, as I said before, to dress vintage because it's a very elegant and timeless style. So yeah, why not? Why not dress like that? I hopefully, if I'm healthy and live until I'm 70, then I will keep dressing vintage. I will, because I love it. I will not suddenly start wearing sweatpants or I don't know. So yeah, that's not happening. I hope I answered your question. So as for makeup, hair and beauty, Jade asks about my skincare and makeup routine. So would you actually like me to do a video more about my makeup routine, I should say, because my skincare routine is pretty simple. But I actually would like to try a 50s skincare routine. That's been on my list for videos to make, so maybe that could be an idea. How do you keep your nails looking so perfectly manicured? Thank you so much. Basically, I don't do them myself. I used to have really long nails, natural nails. I would even do the half moon manicure, which was very trendy in the 40s and the 30s, and I love it. But with my iron deficiency, my nails are now very brittle and they break very easily and I can't grow them long. So I have to have them professionally done and add that layer of, I don't know how it's not gel, it's something else called natural something. Anyways, it's similar to the gel. So yeah, the answer is that I have them professionally done and I'm actually due for a retouch. How do you manage to keep your blonde color so vibrant and your hair so healthy? Thank you, Judith. I dye my hair on my own. I don't go to the hairdresser. I just use a specific dye that I've been recommended by my old hairdresser. Bless him, he was very helpful to tell me what to use and how to use it. And I just do it at home because I'm really bored of hairdressers. I can't really go there and sit for hours on end. I just find it so boring and tiring. So I'd rather do it by myself at home. And I do it once a month, maybe once every 35 days or so. I know it's long. Sometimes my roots are quite visible, but I try not to dye my hair too often. Some people with blonde hair will dye their hair every 20 days, but I find that a bit too much. And I think it would damage my hair. And also another thing that probably makes my hair or keeps my hair healthy is the fact that I don't use heat. I will blow dry my hair when it's cold. But during the summer months, I will not use the dryer at all. I will just let them air dry and then use my rollers and, you know, put them in either in pin curls or foam rollers. And that's how I get the curls. And I also use beer as my setting lotion, which I don't know if it does actually help condition the hair or do anything, but at least it doesn't damage it. So I think probably that's the secret, that I don't use heat. Do share your favorite perfumes. I'm quite loyal with perfumes. I was wearing Angel for many years when I was younger. And then I switched to Rush by Gucci. After that, my next favorite has been L'Eau d'Iris by Prada. It's a beautiful perfume. I think it smells a bit powdery. I love powdery smell. Hey Giuseppe. Another favorite of mine is by Diptyque, something called Philosikos, which basically means fig. And I really love the scent of fig. It reminds me of my childhood summers in Crete, as I told you in that video, if you watched it. Okay, and what are the names, brands of your favorite red lipsticks and perfumes? Perfumes I already said. Red lipsticks. So, as I told you, I used to work for MAC, so I still have quite a few of their lipsticks. I will keep using them until they're completely finished. And if I buy new lipsticks, for example, this one is by Pat McGrath, but I will also buy some very affordable brands like Essence or NYX or Makeup Academy. I don't really have something that is a holy grail. I was enjoying MAC lipsticks a lot, but I now try to buy cruelty-free products. Can you also tell us your favorite 1940s celebrities and films? 1940s, I would say I love Lorraine Bacall. She was so beautiful. And Rita Hayworth. And I really liked Barbara Stanwyck as an actor. And also Bette Davis. She was amazing, phenomenal, and she had a very unique beauty. And as for films, All About Eve, Bette Davis, and Gilda, but I should say I'm a bit more into 50s films. You know, all the Marilyn Monroe films, obviously. I adore Marilyn Monroe. I didn't mention Marilyn Monroe here because I was asked about 1940s celebrities and films, but Marilyn Monroe is my number one. I'm just crazy. And Doris Day, I love Doris Day films, and her style was impeccable. So many actresses and films. How to Marry a Millionaire, Designer Woman with Lorraine Bacall, Designing Woman, I think, Pillow Talk, Midnight Lace, and of course Alfred Hitchcock films. I just adore Hitchcock films. I'm crazy, especially the ones with Grace Kelly. Oh, the fashion in those films. It was just chef's kiss. All right, let's move on to personal life and interests. Since we're going into this category, I would like to ask you something because I got quite a few questions about my personal life and what I do when I'm not filming. So I have been considering this for a while, to create a Patreon as a way to connect more directly with those of you that are really invested in this little cozy corner we have built. I would love to share behind the scenes content and maybe show you my outfit of the day, show you what the kiddies are up to, or maybe just ask you feedback about a video idea or anything related to this channel and our shared interests, basically. And it would also be a way for you to support my channel in case that's something that you were considering. Would that be something you'd be interested in? Please let me know in the comments. I really would like to know your views on this. Okay, let's move on to these questions. So, how long have you been living the vintage life? How did you get into the whole vintage way of life and fashion? And what attracted you most to the vintage lifestyle? I've been dressing vintage for over 10 years. And but I was into vintage anything ever since I can remember. And I loved old Hollywood stars. When I was a child, I admired them so much, and I was so jealous of how these women looked. I wanted to be like them when I grew up. That's mainly what attracted me to this lifestyle. I was always attracted to old things like old trunks, old decor, and of course I did go through other eras of style, like my rock era, my 90s era, but I was always attracted to the old Hollywood aesthetic. Okay, would love to see a tour of your home, or can we see a full tour of your house? The thing is, being a perfectionist, as I've told you, I don't feel I'm ready to show the whole house yet because it's not finished in a sense that I would like it to be finished. Although the house is brand new, is a new build, but still there are some things that I want to do in order to be able to show my house. As soon as I finish with everything at some point, hopefully sooner rather than later, I will do a house tour, I promise. But either way, I will be taking you along with everything I do here, every attempt of refreshing or changing or creating something. What do you do for fun outside of your YouTube channel? For fun? I don't really do much. Oh gosh. Well, I don't really go out that much, I have to admit. I have become a bit of an introvert, although I wasn't always like that. I should say that there is something that is kind of preventing me do more stuff outside my house, which is basically anxiety, panic attacks, which I get sometimes when I go to a bar or a restaurant, or when I would board a plane or a boat or something like that. I do go out, like I go to the supermarket, I go to whatever errands I need to run. But when it comes to fun, I don't really go out that much. And that's something I need to deal with. So I'm trying to deal with it at my own pace. Do you live in Athens or somewhere nearby? I live in an east suburb of Attica. Attica is the general region where Athens is, but Athens is basically the main city. I used to live in Piraeus, which is the port of Athens, of Attica, but I moved here a year and a half ago now. And this is more of a rural area, but is also a summer destination. So it kind of combines both sea and nature, which is a lovely combination. Age? You look young. Thank you, Prudence. Do you live in Athens or somewhere nearby? I answered that. Have you ever been married? Okay, my age is 50 years old. I have been married, yes. Although it was so long ago, so it kind of seems like it never happened, because it was in 2002 and I was married for over a year and a half. It was really bad. It was really bad. We were very incompatible, and it shouldn't have happened to begin with. But, well, when we're young, we make mistakes. But I'm glad I fixed that mistake and got divorced. So now I'm just a divorcee. What is your greatest dream for your future? Oh, what a lovely question. Let me start by saying that what I always wanted was to be on stage. As an actress, as a singer, as a performer. I love that. I still do. So I would really love to be able to sing for the next, I don't know how many years, because I'm already 50. So as long as my voice is still good. And also I really want to be doing this. I want to be making content for YouTube. I really hope that I can grow this community and make this a nice, a safe, cozy space for like-minded people like all of you to come together to be able to get a sustainable living out of this, actually. That would be nice. Do you like to travel? And if so, where have you been? Yes, I love traveling. Although, as I said before, my anxiety keeps me from traveling lately. But hopefully I can try to fix that or make it better, because you never really make panic attacks go away, but you kind of make them better. And I have traveled to the UK. I've lived in London for 3 years. I also have lived in Italy for a few months when I was very young, and also traveled to Tuscany, Rome and Napoli. And I've been to Vienna. And yes, I've also been to Bali and Thailand, Bangkok, which was my honeymoon. Anyways, but I would really love to be able to travel to more places. I want to go to France. I would really love to travel to the US. Yeah, other places as well. So many places in Europe too. I just need to deal with what is preventing me from traveling right now. And as soon as I do, I will start traveling again. How did you learn to speak perfect English? And it may even sound like a British accent. And how many languages do you speak? Thank you very much for saying I speak perfect English. Oh, and there's another one. How did you learn English so perfectly? Thank you. I loved English ever since I was young, very young. And I even used to do back then when we didn't have Google, when I would hear a song, I would just play it on tape and stop, forward, rewind and all that, just to write down the lyrics, because I loved being able to sing along with English songs. I always wanted to be able to speak fluently and to be able to communicate with people from all over the world. That's why I really love learning languages, basically. It's a great way to connect with people from other cultures and places. And as for the accent, it's probably related to the fact that I lived in London for 3 years. I don't know, it just comes a bit more naturally to me. Although it's not like purely British. If I'm watching a British TV show, I may just pick up on that accent a bit more. Or if I'm talking to someone from England, then I'll start to kind of imitate their own accent. But if I'm talking to someone from the US, I may pick up on their accent. It's strange, but it happened. And as for other languages, well, I speak English, French, Italian, a bit of Spanish, and Greek, of course. Greek is my native language. I would love to learn more Spanish, and also I want to learn Portuguese because I sing in Portuguese as well as in all the other languages. And I would love to be able to understand what I'm singing about and also get the accent better. So I think I'm gonna stop this one for now because I think it's gonna get a bit too long. So this will be part 1, and I will make sure to film part 2 soon. Of course, after the styling video that I have promised. So thank you so much for giving me your questions and for being here and supporting me. And don't forget to let me know if you think that Patreon sounds like something that you would be interested in. I would really love to have a space that we can connect more personally. So thank you very much for being here. I'm sending you all my love, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.